I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video, I'm going to discuss a question from previous test paper of my student, a grade 6 student. They are introduced to the concept of equations where they define variables, write equations, and solve word problems, right? So that's the question which we are going to discuss now. Here is a copy of the question. In a collection of 50 cards, Anil has some valuable and some regular cards. He has 16 more valuable cards than regular cards. We have 4 questions based on it. The first one is, explain what information is represented by this equation. V plus R equals to 50. B is, explain what information is represented by the equation V equals to R plus 16. C is, explain what information is represented by the equation R plus 16 plus R equals to 50. How many of each kind of cards does Anil have? So these are the 4 questions based on the information given to you. You can pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestions. Now the idea of sharing this question is to understand how do we form equations by defining variables, right? Method is given to you. Now let's read the question once again. In a collection of 50 cards, Anil has some valuable and some regular cards. So we have a collection of 50 cards. Some are valuable, some are regular cards. Do you see that? Now let's look into part A. It says, explain what information is represented by this equation. V plus R is 50, right? So equation has 2 parts. The left side we are saying V plus R, that is sum of valuable and regular cards. Right? So this sum of valuable and regular cards is represented by V plus R. So V is the number of valuable cards, R is number of regular cards. And on the right side, equal to 50. So we say that this sum is 50 cards, right? So that is total collection. Of 50, right? So that is what this equation or the information is being represented by this equation, right? So that's how we can explain. You can also at times say that V represents valuable cards. We say V represents number of valuable cards and R represents number of regular cards. So you can begin by that and then say what this equation represents, okay? Part B is, explain what information is represented by the equation V equals to R plus 16. Now let's look into the second sentence, which says he has 16 more valuable cards than regular cards. So this statement, 16 more valuable cards than regular cards, is represented by this equation, right? So this represents that number of valuable cards is 16 more than number of regular cards. Correct? So that is how we can explain it. Now C is, explain what information is represented by this equation. R plus 16 plus R equals to 50. So as you can see, what we have done here is that we have substituted the value of V in the first equation, right? So we have actually replaced V with R plus 16 here. So we get R plus 16. Do you see? So instead of V, we have written R plus 16, right? So This equation represents what? It represents total number of cards in terms of regular cards. Do you see that? There's only one variable here, r, total number of cards in terms of regular cards. Do you see that? So that is what this equation represents. So the equation has r plus 16 plus r on the left side. So we don't have two variables. We started with two, but now we have only one. It is important to have this kind of an equation to solve, right? D is how many of each kind of cards does a nil have. So now you can solve this equation and know how many regular cards are there. So r plus 16 plus r is 50. So we can combine r and r. So that gives us 2r plus 16 equals to 50. So we can say 2r, we can take away 16, right? So equals to 50 minus 16, right? So it is 10 take away 6 is 4. You borrowed 1. So 4 take away 1 is 34. That is 2r. So r is equals to 34 divided by 2, and that is 17, right? So we get the value of r. We need to find both, right? Regular as well as the valuable cards. Now we know that the valuable cards are 16 more. So valuable cards are 17 plus 16. Is it okay? So just add them up, right? 6 plus 7 is 13. 3, 1, 33. So we get our answer. So how many of each kind are there? So you can write down the answer. Valuable cards is 33 and regular is 17, right? So that is how you can actually solve such a question. I'd like you to go through these steps one by one, understand the concept. Don't be in a rush, correct? So I've taken my time to explain. The idea is you've been introduced to a very, very important concept. Understand as you move along. I'm Anil Kumar. You can always share and subscribe my videos. Thank you and all the best.